Okay, so the purpose of shamanic journeying is self-discovery. There are times when we don't have the answers in our conscious mind because we're too busy using it to do incredibly functional tasks which help us do everything and get everywhere we need to. When we work on a shamanic journey, we allow the functional part of our brain to take a rest and we let our subconscious step forward. And the best way to do that is through imagination. Now, when we use imagination, we're working with storytelling and metaphor, and we're working with imagery, with colours, with shapes, and even fairy tales. Every story we've ever been told has lodged itself into our subconscious, so the TV that we watch as well, that's all imagination. That actually gets lodged in your subconscious mind. So it's an incredible place to take a question to. And the thought that we're going to have tonight is about change and air. So the element of air represents our thoughts. It represents intuitive flashes. It represents our thoughts about peace. And when we think about peace, we project peace with our words. So we've picked that up in the circle in one of the cards. This thought of peace in the mind projects peace through your communication and your actions. So change with peace and thoughts in the air, allowing that to move around. Change is also an inevitability. Change is something that you can always count on. Everything is constantly changing and becoming something else. Nothing really, truly ever is the same in each moment. Because our cells constantly evolve, die off and change. When does a seed become a shoot? And when it's a shoot, does it stop being a seed? Or is the seed still attached to the bottom of it until it just drops off? Yet our functional mind is so good at saying, okay, now it's 10 o'clock, now it's 11 o'clock. We forget that everything is constantly changing. Everything is constantly changing. And we do that because we need to work in blocks, because we're human beings making this world go around. So we need to instigate that. The winds of change are incredible. So there would be 4 winds blowing around the earth, each of them carrying a different message. So the winds of the north, east, south and west. The winds of the north are the area of the thoughts and the actual air itself. The winds from the south carry thoughts and feelings about wounds and also mystery. It's funny that mystery and wounds are in the same part of the medicine wheel in the water. The wounded child is in the south of the medicine wheel, and also the mystery that water carries is in the south as well. So that wind can come up and obviously move our thoughts. The west is physical life, is the body. How does your body affect your thoughts on a daily basis, your physicality? What's your physicality moving through your mind and your thoughts? And how is your physicality connecting to the parts of you that aren't physical? You see, air is very much a constant non-physical concept because it's everywhere all at once. And at what point do we become air? You know, I was just putting there the thought about the seed becoming a sprout. At what point does the air begin and our body stop? You see, I just went through the energetic system with some sound to cleanse it. That's still like a part of you. Do you own your thoughts? Are they yours or are they mine? Whose thought is it? Whose thought is it? Anyway, who does that thought belong to? Whether it's a good one or a bad one. Because let's face it, there are some bad thoughts going around. And there's also some good thoughts coming around. Where do thoughts come from? I don't know the answer, and I'm not expecting you to know it, but maybe it's something that you could take into your journey to go in with. Thoughts change constant. I changed my mind. Do we like changing our mind? How do we respond to people who change their minds? And what changes our mind? We've got some cards with great big angels coming out of people's heads here. Do we have angelic presence? Higher frequencies. These tuning forks are 4,000 parts per second. This is known as an angelic frequency because it's so fast and so high pitched. It's an angelic frequency. These frequencies are always around us constantly. Are we tuned into them sometimes and we think with those higher kind of vibrations? Or sometimes are we changing our thoughts to go in line with what our lower vibrations are giving us? And lower vibrations aren't always negative vibrations. Lower vibrations are just slower forms of that frequency. For example, the earth frequencies that I sent around, they're a lower vibration. And yet sometimes we go around and say, oh, that's so low vibration, I can't do it. But actually, low vibration has still got some goodness to it. So how do the vibrations and the feelings that we have about things change our mind? And where did we get those judgments of those things that are changing our mind? Obviously, there's always a positive and a negative to this. So are we having our minds change positively? And how do you accept that you're changing your mind positively? If it was me personally, I'd say I chose to change my own mind because I personally believe in this. If someone else is changing my mind, I would hear myself saying, oh, I changed my mind because so-and-so told me that they did this and they didn't like it and they don't believe in it. Or how often does someone have such a strong belief and they present it to you as their belief and they are asking you to join in with your belief and you take that other person's belief on? You know, these beliefs are massively involved in the north, in the air of us. Some beliefs, if we can't change them, they die straight away. If a thought can't change, it's essentially lost its life. Life is about being able to grow and change. The moment when a thought is no longer able to grow or change, it's practically lifeless now. It's like had its energetic cord cut and it's one thing forever. Completion. This is a massive circle of change. So this is the Ouroboros. The symbol is the snake eating its own tail, and it's a sign of being complete in yourself yet still cyclically moving. A circle itself is eternal movement and change. So the completion, I like to take the completion off and call it completeness. Because I feel like completeness still can change. I feel completeness. If I feel completion, then I don't think I can change it anymore. It can't develop anymore. But if I feel a sense of completeness about it, then it's sort of like still a bit movable to me. But the completion itself is also a constant spectrum. This is a rainbow snake. And the thing about rainbow is no one colour ever ends and no one colour ever really begins. When we buy rainbow things, the rainbow is always segregated, but really the rainbow colours all blend into each other, so no one ends and no one begins. And that's nicely depicted on that card as well. So we've got rainbows, we've got doves of peace, we've got a standstill.
Now I've got some cards at home and this week I've pulled out a one similar to that like 3 times.
So change is good for you, but stand still. There's something in standing still that instigates change. You have to be standing still to know that change is needed. In the trinity of like Om and all different trinities through different philosophies, there's a beginning, a middle and an end. And often the middle point is the still point in the centre. And if you think about a figure of 8, there is a still place, but it's not still because the energy moves around it and through to the centre still point, which is the middle of the figure of 8. So there is a still point, yet spirit energy moves through it constantly. So even when you feel like you're standing still, you're actually changing. Because geographically and location-wise, you're at the still point, you're in the middle, nothing's happening. But you're a living movement of energy, so energy's still moving through you as you're standing in that still point. Just mystery. You don't get answers, you just get further mystery. But that's the great thing about life, because once you have got an answer, you're not going to change your mind. And that answer is therefore no longer a conduit of energy. So it's kind of like floating in the water. Yeah, the Earth Keeper. That's a powerful one as well. Does anybody have any reflections on change and thoughts? Or a better question is, what's resonated with you about the cards that we've pulled out and the massive amount of information I've just said? Because you're not all going to remember all of it, but there will be parts of it that have touched buttons.
When you said about the wind from the south,
yeah.
What was that around again?
So the south is our wounds that we carry. The south is water, and the south is also the moments in our life when we weren't able to fully understand what was happening to us. And when the wind blows over the south and it comes to us in the centre of the medicine wheel, that's the thought, that's what's covering our thoughts, that wind from the south of that old wound or that unresolved moment in our life that we didn't understand is flowing over us.
So it's bringing it back to you to make you deal with it.
Bringing it back to you to make you deal with it, and it's also saying patterns of your life are based on this until you resolve it.
I did it, do you remember about a month ago you sent us a text saying when you're ready to deal with it, you'll deal with it?
Yeah.
But I didn't think I had anything to deal with. But I did because I was like, okay.
What's he on about? You must have been like, what's he on about?
I'm quite in a good place and quite happy. But I did a shamanic meditation 3 days ago, and it took us, to cut a long story short, 7 years ago I was in partnership with somebody with a business, and they were horrific, and it's a wound, I suppose. And if I ever came face to face with them, I don't know I couldn't cope. 3 days ago, I know I couldn't cope. And I went on a shamanic journey, and it took us in the desert. And I know when it said, you're now in the desert, and instantly it went blank, and I wouldn't let myself see, and I said, I'm scared, and somebody said, but don't be scared. And he was there. I didn't see him, but he was there, and I knew he was there. But then I started laughing hysterically, and then I was like, I just wish you peace, and it was gone. And it was like...
So laughter is the highest vibration. Laughter is an air thing. Like when we do the laughter breath, it's in the mouth and out the mouth. That's an air vibration, and it's a very strong, high vibrational power that will override. If anybody is very much stuck in meanness and you stand there and laugh around them, they won't be able to cope with it. So you literally blasted them away with laughter. That's like sending that out to them. Right, so we're going to go into a shamanic journey now, and you can lie down, sit up, you can drum along with it, but the journey is about the wind of change. So you imagine yourself walking across a field to the tree that you know and you've been to before. It's all your storytelling. And then you literally tell yourself a story and allow it to unfold around you. But as it unfolds around you, allow all of your senses to get involved, okay? Allow your sense of touch to get involved, the memory of touch of those places you're in. Be curious about if a guide or a character appears. Be curious about what that guide feels like, or what the guide smells like, or even what the guide sounds like. Just allow your senses to go within you. So I'll just begin by drumming a little bit. Oh, let me give you all an eye mask, because it's good to have an eye. Have we got one? I've got one in my bag, because it's good to have an eye mask on for a journey. Should I, Tom? So I'll guide you a little bit at the start. Oh, you've got I'll guide you a little bit. I'll engage your senses, and then I will leave you for 10 minutes with the drumming to go on the journey. What I'd like you to do is to just become aware of your body right now, how it feels against the floor. So first of all, we engage our outer senses, feeling the ground beneath you, noticing the feeling of the shoulders against the ground, your hips against the ground, and your heels against the ground. Now tune into the sounds in the room and the sounds outside the room. Maybe you can hear the birds gently tweeting. And even though you've got an eye mask on, I'd like you just to open your eyes and notice what you can see with your ordinary eyes. And then when you're ready and you've taken that, and you can close them. And finally, the sense of smell. What can you smell in the room around you? What can you feel inside you? As the energy comes into the body from the air, turn your senses inwards now. Allow your sense of external feeling to go inside, feeling within yourself. The energy, the flow, the air, the changes that are happening in your body right now. Go within yourself with your sense of hearing. What can you hear inside yourself? Can you tune into a sound or a voice? And finally, your inner vision. Begin to imagine your tree into your mind. Colour it with the colours you remember it being. See it in the distance. Allow it to beckon you far across the field, moving towards it, and as you move towards it, allow your imagination to decorate this scene with nature, colours, shapes, animals, fairies, spirits, dragons, angels, ancient beings. And find one of these guides, one of these energies, and just ask it the question: what does the wind of change have in store for me? And allow your guide to take you on that journey now. fingers fly.